Welcome into another Knicks Nation player preview. We have OG Anunoby on deck for you guys. Excited to get into OG Anunoby for the 2025-2026 season. In case you're new here, we're doing a player preview for every single Knick. So make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, and let's go, Chris. OG Anunoby. OG had a really good season last year for the New York Knicks, Chris. Career highs, 18 points, 4.8 rebounds, 2.2 assists, along with 2.4 stocks. In case you don't know what a stock is, that is a steal plus block per game. He appeared in 74 regular season games, which is amongst his most durable outputs in recent years. Shooting was solid, Chris, a little bit inconsistent. Corner three-point shot dipped a little bit to 37% in the playoffs. What do you say, OG Anunoby? Hello, player.
Yeah. I got no bad things to say about OG Anunoby. Look, You said it, and something we hoped for. OG Anunoby stayed relatively healthy the prior season. 74 games played, including 18 more in the postseason, which was amazing. You know, a guy who a lot of people said the Knicks would never get much value from simply because his injury history, right? That was a big mark when it came to OG Anunoby, obviously when the New York Knicks traded for him, and something I subscribed to early on as well. I can't lie about it. So look, it was awesome to see OG Anunoby last season. I think he took strides, man, especially offensively. He showed us some things out there, you know, obviously kind of a polarizing figure if I have to explain it in that way, in that it doesn't look pretty out there, right? It doesn't look pretty out there. Yeah. But he gets it done, right? He gets it done. So OG Anunoby, man, I got nothing bad to say about him. He had a hell of a season for the New York Knicks.
I think when you say it doesn't look pretty, you think about the missed layups at the rim. Weird dip in percentage at the rim, only 65% at the rim. Just missed a lot of layups at the rim. I think he was amongst the league lowest in terms of percentage, in terms of layups, which is kind of crazy. Maybe it's his elbow. I don't know. He did lead the league at one point in dunks. Really good dunker, really good finisher. If it's not a layup, if it's a dunk, he's a really good finisher. But if it's a layup, you're kind of holding your breath. Dribbling, you know, it needs some work, you know, but
it doesn't look pretty.
He can give you a little in between the legs, Jalen Brunson gather, right?
Yeah, he definitely learned that from Brunson. And look, you've seen him cook a little bit, you know, a couple of dribble moves here and there, in the shooting the midi, which is something we didn't see OG Anunoby do a lot early on, but last season he started shooting the ball, pull up middies.
Yep.
So, you know, I think he got a chance to actually show a little bit more what he could do offensively, especially when Jalen Brunson was out for a few games during the season.
You have those stats in front of you? Without Jalen Brunson on the court?
Yep.
Go ahead and read those
stats,
Chris.
Jalen Brunson on the court, he averaged 13.7 points, 4.7 rebounds, and about
23 points. Without 16 games. You just had it up to 16 games, 23.1 points, 5.1 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and 16 games without Jalen Brunson on the court. And if we remember, dominating, Chris, dominating. I remember to start the season, best game was, man, I forgot who it was. Was it Denver? One of the West Coast games where he was just dominant. I think it was Denver, where he was just couldn't miss. And everyone was like, OG Anunoby's going to have a big season this year. And he essentially did, Chris. Career highs across the board. Like we said, playoff season lows. I mean, in terms of efficiency. But he could have just been playing a lot. You know, like Tom Thibodeau never took him off the court. So, I mean, of course your efficiency is going to dip a little bit, right?
Yeah. I mean, OG was playing. Look, I have it right here. He averaged 39.2 minutes per game in the postseason. So I think a dip is, a 3% dip from
Yeah.
three. If we went from 37 to about 34%, his field goal percentage overall went from 47.6 to 41.7 in the postseason. So look, I know a lot of the players are not going to say, hey, yeah, I'm tired. I wish I got some rest. But
Hmm.
I think in the case of OG Anunoby, granted, again, being a season where he played the most games he's played in a while, obviously staying relatively healthy. You got to be tired out there, man, especially playing in a, grinded out Tom Thibodeau scheme. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was tired. And look, with all that said, he still showed up when it matters most as well.
He showed the hell up, man. Look, durability is always going to be concerned with him. Obviously, he signed that 5-year, $212 million contract extension, most money given to a Knick ever. Health, he dealt with the elbow and with an ankle. He's always going to be a really good 3 and D player, Chris. I think he's a little bit underrated in terms of defensive metrics because I seems like like last season I don't think he was even like being considered for one of the defensive teams if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
And
that was wild.
it's like,
Disrespect.
yeah, disrespect. Like, come on. And I think he recognizes that and realizes that. And I think starting Mitchell Robinson will help him in that regard, Chris, because he is a better defender with Mitchell Robinson on the court. And we saw that. He's even spoken about that. Him and Mikal Bridges are better defenders with kind of like that paint anchor. And I just think there were way too many times last year where he just had to save the New York Knicks in terms of a broken possession or broken play thanks to Karl Anthony Towns not really playing good defense or somebody else. I don't want to, point the finger at Karl Anthony Towns, but I just think what we saw from him without Jalen Brunson, Chris, I just think more of the same this year, more off the ball freedom for him. I think Mike Brown will utilize him more as a cutter. Moving without the basketball, we're seeing it a little bit in training camp. Always a really good defender, like we said, but and to manage his minutes throughout the regular season, Chris, because you want to preserve him for a playoff push in which we are hoping to make it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I just think like in a random night in January, like OG Anunoby 42 minutes, or not even January, like November, like it just can't happen in my opinion. And I think with the new coaching staff, I think it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I agree, and I think look, there's already rumblings about Mike Brown. Hey, we're gonna have a 9 or 10 man rotation. So look,
yep,
other people are gonna be involved. That means more rest for some of the starters. Obviously, when warranted, I'm sure there'll be nights where they'll play, a couple extra minutes. But it shouldn't be as bad as we saw it where there was able bodies and they didn't get out there just because of a trust issue or something
yeah.
like that. So, yeah, look, I'm hyped for OG Anunoby. He had an amazing season, and I think he's only going to get better, man. The more and more he gets out there, the more freedom, like you mentioned, that he should have. OG's a problem, man. He's just a problem out there, defensively and offensively. And I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder, man. Getting kind of disrespected, not
Yeah.
being rated highly, in
Hmm.
the defensive player of the year talk. I mean, I don't think he even made it top 10 or something like that, right? In the rankings.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know he didn't make a team,
I
if I'm
do
not
remember
mistaken.
there being some players that simply just, oh, Anunoby was clearly better than. But again, maybe I'm a little bit biased, but OG is a hell of a defender, and I can't wait to see him next season, man.
Yeah, his last defensive team, I believe, was 2022-2023, named to NBA All Defensive Second Team. And I think that's it. Look, obviously injuries have taken a toll, but it just gets ignored kind of, and
Yeah.
I just don't want people. Look, he's a great defender, but he's way more than that. And I think, with the new system, new offensive coaches and assistant coaches, I just think that they can utilize him more as a cutter and just utilize him more in pick and roll sets. And look, preserve his minutes. We need him for the playoffs. Obviously, I mean, there's some great defensive games in the playoffs. I mean, unreal player, honestly, and $212 million player, Chris, and I think he's worth
Yeah.
it.
Every
Um,
penny. Every penny.
Yeah.
What do
Look,
you think? Did the Knicks come out on top in the trade? Obviously R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel quickly. Knicks get back. OG Anunoby, Precious Achua. You know, what do you think about that trade now? Now that we've seen what OG Anunoby can do and has done for
yeah.
the New York Knicks.
Look, the Raptors have been really bad, and the New York Knicks have been really good. And that's Emmanuel quickly has gotten hurt. RJ Barrett has been inconsistent. So yeah, I would say hell yeah, because you paired OG Anunoby with Mikal Bridges, and you got Precious. You let Precious go. You essentially replaced him with Yabu. So yeah, I would say it worked out. I
Yeah,
would say it
yeah. I
worked out.
think look, I was one of those people that I was heartbroken, right? Obviously Manuel quickly, fan favorite, RJ Barrett, you know, Nick, basically homegrown Nick,
Yeah,
you know. But yeah, look, there's even rumblings that RJ Barrett may get traded from Toronto,
yeah.
which is
Look at that.
crazy. Which is crazy. But yeah, OG Anunoby has been way more than I expected, that's for sure, as a New York Knick. And I think he's only touching the surface, man. He's young and he keeps surprising me, man. That's what it is. He just keeps surprising
It's
me.
in his
Like,
prime.
yes, he's a defensive menace, but offensively, I gotta admit, I didn't see this coming from OG Anunoby defensively, last season. And he just keeps getting better and
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, I think some of his efficiency had to correlate with his elbow injury too. Look,
Yeah.
38% from the corner three. He's always been above 40% in his career, besides 1 year in 2018, 2019. But I think it had to do with his elbow injury, and maybe he was recovering from that, and maybe that had to do with the layups. But something to do with the layups, the botched layups, and the weird dribbling. Um, Look, I there was times when I was in the post game calling him like, bro, you got to learn how to dribble. Like you're making that much money. That's one area where you got to dribble. You got to handle the
Yeah.
rock.
I guess that's fair, right? Yeah, the
Yeah,
elbow, I think the elbow was definitely bothering him a bit. And then obviously look, playing alongside Mikal Bridges and them trying to figure that out as well,
yeah.
probably part of it as well. But I'm excited for OG, man. And
So,
again, I wish him nothing but good health throughout the upcoming season. I
yep.
would love to see him play 75 games in the regular season instead of the 74. So, OG's gonna be out there doing his thing. I have no worries with OG. Any concerns about OG and Anunoby?
No, he's coming off a career season, 74 games. I think more of the same. Anytime you can get him above 70 games, I think it's a win. You know, he's only
Yeah.
done that one time in his rookie year, and that was it. But I think
Oof.
it's a win. He was up there in minutes per game. I think honestly, that's why the Knicks made a change. They're going to scale back these guys' minutes. Mikel,
Yeah.
OG, Brunson. They're already talking about Jalen Brunson playing off ball more. They're going to scale these minutes back because in the playoffs they want to go farther and farther than what they have gone. And I think we're going to see more of that. So maybe some of the numbers take a dip, but I think his efficiency will rise and that will ultimately balance it out. It's just about durability with OG Anunoby. Amazing player, great player. Obviously, you know the deal. He's going to start, right? I mean, he's going to start. And yeah, anything else you wanted to say?
Stay healthy,
Stay
OG.
healthy. Stay healthy, OG. That's the player preview for OG Anunoby. In case you want to see more player previews, they're right here in the middle of the screen. One player equals one video. Subscribe, like, all the good stuff. I'm Anthony from Knicks Nation.
I'm Chris.
Catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.